Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today I'm going to be ranking Travis's characters from across all of Critical Role. Except that's not really true. I'm going to be only focusing on four. I'm going to be ranking them from least favorite to favorite. Keep in mind that the word favorite is there. So no one-shot characters. Mainly the main campaigns and EXU Calamity will be in here. So let's get into it. Sounds good? At number 4, we have Chetney Pocketpea, the Blood Hunter, Order of the Lycan, and partial rogue. He is the current Campaign 3 character for Travis, and right now, out of all of the characters he has, main story-wise, he's the one that I'm least interested in and intrigued by. His intrigue came from, well, the mystery surrounding him and Gurge a little bit, and then ever since then, we've kind of got the intrigue around Uldgar, but that's not going to happen anytime soon, I don't think. So right now he's just a werewolf gnome guy, blood hunter, rogue, who has anger problems, or could be evil, depending. And we won't get any sort of answers from him. He is not an active character actively pursuing his past. He's pursuing something new for him, which is controlling his Lycan form, which is interesting, but it's something that can be played out over a long period of time, so he's not a focus right now. And because of that, I don't feel as connected to him. I do love the character. I think he's hilarious. I think he's great. I think that there's a lot of depth that could be pulled from Chetney, which is why he's one of my favorite characters from Campaign 3. But compare him to the other Travis characters, including Sarret, who we just got introduced to, I'm not as invested in Chetney as I am Sarret. I still love Chetney. I think he's a great gag character. I think he's a great character overall. I'm really intrigued by the Blood Hunter class. I'm really intrigued by his past. Like, Uldgar is something I really want to delve into, which is mildly why I'm a little miffed that we haven't really delved deep into it within 24 episodes. Granted, he's got less than 24 episodes because he came in at episode 8. But you get my point. We don't have that much on Chetney compared to other characters. The only one who has more, or the only one he has more than is Sarret, but with the small amount of time we've had with Sarret, I still feel like I'm more invested in him. That being said, still love Chetney. Can't wait to see more from this character, but someone has to be number 4, and I fear that that is Chetney. At number 3, we have Sarret, and Sarret is awesome. He is a bird folk, or an Aarakocra. In Critical Role speak, they have another term for them, or another name, but I don't know how to say it, so I'm not going to. But he is also a rogue. Very interesting class to me. It's one of my favorite classes, if not my favorite class. But he is an inquisitive rogue, which is something that I've never seen play before. None of my players ever played it. I've never played it. So to me, seeing a really inquisitive rogue like this, a very untrusting character who is delving deeper into people's deceit and lies, is awesome. Especially his balance between being the character that doesn't use magic in a place filled with magic is awesome. His dynamic with every other character is so amazing because he doesn't have magic. What could he do? Oh, he can see through all of our lies, and it's awesome. He is a cop in Avalier, and he is badass. I love him. His interactions with his son are great. I think adding that layer to that character is just amazing. And I like how, unlike the other characters in Calamity, where they're all doing something for some sort of selfish gain, it truly feels like Sarret is the only one doing it to help the people of Avalier, as opposed to just pursue his own goals. And I think that's amazing, to be surrounded by characters who I would honestly call a bunch of narcissists and not be one. Be an upstanding person, be an amazing, good person, and that's what Sarret is. Sarret is someone who stands apart from all the people in Avalier as a decent human, or a decent person, compared to, Liren, who wants to push toward the tree and destroy the tree and get what she wants out of Avalier and transport everyone without telling them that they're going to be transported. Or, Xerxes, who wants to just get his husband back, so he's doing things for selfish reasons. Sarret is solely trying to protect Avalier, and I love that idea. Avalier and his family, but they're a part of Avalier. So to me, Sarret is the best person in that group. He is the person that I would say is good out of all of them. The rest of them seem neutral. He is in the good alignment if I have to give him an alignment. And because of that, he stands out so much. And he is such a different character because he doesn't have that magic aspect to him. He has magical items, but his magicless aspect makes him stand out super well against all of these people who are extremely powerful magic users. And I think it's really cool. And his hawks are badass, and the fact that he can see invisibility, like the smallest little bits of your eyes left because you need some of it to be able to see. That shit's awesome. He's a badass. Rogue is a badass class. Rogue is a cheat code, and I think he's proven it by standing next to these magic users and just being able to see through their lies, their bullshit, and being able to tear them down. Because he is tearing them down mentally. He has done that. I believe he is truly causing a lot of indifference or complications within their own minds. And I really like it. I think Sarah's an awesome character, and I can't wait to see him in episode 4, which is coming out tonight for me. It'll be yesterday for all of you. Sweet. Moving on to number 2. At number 2, we have Grog Strongjaw. He is a big, dumb softy who cares for his friends, who will do anything for them. He will stand in front of them as they get shot at by bullets or arrows or whatever. He is a good friend, and that is the best part of his character. He will literally do anything for the people he cares about, for his family, and he'll get upset for them. He'll get upset at them if they do something that conflicts with other people in his friend group. You know, like when Scanlan left, that destroyed Pike as much as it destroyed him, but he cared about Pike as much as he did about himself with the loss of Scanlan. And he was one of the few people who, when Scanlan couldn't be revived that moment, he was pissed. And that is the core of Grog. Grog's character is the softy that cares about his friends and loves his friends. So when one of them died and they couldn't bring him back, he wasn't even raging at the time, and he was the most pissed off he had ever been in his life. And I loved it. I thought that was great, which, you know, is kind of messed up to say. But then at the same time, Grog is a little deeper than just that. He has a family who's got like a weird history about being brutal toward themselves. His uncle Kevdak killed or very badly injured to the point where his father died and then took over the herd. And I think that's great too. And then he got, kicked out of the herd for protecting a little gnome. And that's when he met Pike. And then Pike became his sister as he moved in with that gnome that he protected. So he got some sort of, reward for doing that after leaving the violent herd. And he is a great character. And as much as, I feel like there's more depth in Chetney and Sarah, the little bit of depth that has, that's underneath Grog is so subtle and so good, especially for a first character. This is Travis's first ever D&D character. So for him to be as layered as he is, and as interesting as he is, without constantly showing it, is a great thing. It's a great small character who can sit in the background, and when he needs to, he can come forward. And he's a very subtle character, very good subtle character. I really enjoy it. And he's a fun class. Goliath Barbarian is very basic, but he does an amazing job with being basic. I hate saying basic for classes, but Barbarian and Fighter are typically seen like that, and that's what he was. He was a barbarian. He was a rage beast. He was a badass, and he was so cool, and he can attack and do tons of damage with only a handful of hits. He was able to keep the tempo up and the damage up with some of the magic users on his team, and with the rogue, who could deal a ton of damage with one strike. He wasn't just sitting there doing nothing. He wasn't just a meat shield. He was also like a fun attacker. So that, I don't know. I find Grog to be extremely fun. And that's why he's number 2 for me. He's unlike Sarah, who is also extremely fun and also like really layered on a more surface level, whereas Grog is more layered on a deeper level, and that comes out when other players need it to. And I really enjoyed that about Grog. And at number 1 is obviously Ford. Ford is my, without a doubt, favorite Critical Role character. His journey is awesome, from being a servant to Uk'otoa to becoming a champion of the Wild Mother. His story is amazing, from being someone who didn't know who he was or what he was going to do and pretending to be like someone else in Vander, and even to the point where he was imitating his voice, to becoming his own man and starting to use his own voice with the people that he's around in his new family. He goes from a character who's doesn't believe that he can command a power in a room beforehand, so he's using someone else's voice that did, to him leading a whole crew of sailors at the end. He goes from not being sure what he wants to do with his life to falling in love with Jester. He's such an amazing, fun character, and his arc is awesome. His arc is trying to find himself, looking for father figures as he does it, and along the way he comes across multiple, Vandern being one of them. He even claims that Caduceus is one of them. And I think as a character progresses like that, where he goes from different people looking for inspiration to who he should be, and eventually finding Caduceus, who basically, be you, man. Like, that is... And he took that to heart and became himself. He became the person he was always meant to be. And when he decided to throw his sword away into the lava and break his pact with Uk'otoa and fully embrace the Wild Mother, that was one of the best moments in Critical Role. Because at that point, you throw away your class. When you get rid of your patron, you throw away what makes you a fighter. And he did that, and that was awesome. And he earned the Wild Mother's embrace, like I said earlier. And I think that that was one of the best arcs a character's had in Critical Role. And then to go from not knowing what he wanted to do with his love life, at the beginning he kind of noticed that Jester was flirting with him, and he kind of a little bit precipitated but didn't do too much with it, and then eventually noticed that it went away altogether, to the point where he started to realize, oh shit, I do care about this person, but I don't know if now's the time, to at the end of their journey telling her that he loved her. I think his character went through such an arc. One of probably, in my opinion, the biggest arc for any character in Critical Role so far. He was the one that went from one point to a completely different spectrum by the end of his character. And I think he is just a perfect D&D character. Going from level 2, from what we saw, to level, I believe it was 14. And you could look at the two people, and they look the same, but they feel different. One is, wannabe Vandrin. The other is Fordstone. And that is badass. He is a great character, and not to mention the fucking class. Warlock Paladin is such a nasty class combination, especially when you're a Hexblade. That charisma bonus is nasty. And I really, really enjoyed the character. I really loved the class. I loved everything about Ford. I loved his pirate theme. I loved his, sailing theme. He's the reason they went to Dark Toe and started collecting eyeballs for Uk'otoa, and went on one of my favorite stretches of Critical Role, Campaign 2, that stretch of episodes is probably my favorite. It was the one that I enjoyed the most, aside from the last Aeorian sort of story we got. That is my favorite section, where they're out on sea looking for Uk'otoa's eyes, when they go underwater and trying to find more information about what happened to the ship that day. That stretch of, I believe it was 25 episodes, is my favorite batch of Critical Role. And that is because it's based around Ford, my favorite Travis Willingham character. So there you have it. That is how I ordered Travis Willingham's main continuity characters. He obviously has one-shot characters like Bertrand Bell, who I could have put in this list, but I elected not to. He also has Chetney Chocolate Cane, who I could have put in this, but I don't think those kind of characters fit. We didn't have a whole story arc for them or anything like that. I guess technically Chetney did, but they didn't fit. I was looking more for main player characters from the proper campaigns, and I think EXU Calamity deserves to be in that list of proper campaign, especially if EXU is, because technically they have characters who are in both. So yeah, this is going to be a new series where I rank the player characters from my least favorite to favorite, because I love all the Critical Role characters. If there is an exception, I will definitely let you know, but I'd have to let myself know first. So expect this to fill the next couple weeks. I'm going to do Sam and Marisha next, because they're part of EXU Calamity, and I think EXU Calamity is awesome. So also on Saturday, I'm going to make the sort of recap and thoughts on for EXU Calamity. I wanted to get all of the episodes done with before talking about it, and I'm going to make a long video about it. I'm going to break down the characters, or do my best to break down the characters and what I like about them and what I dislike about some of them, because fucking one of them is making me mad, but that is literally what the character is designed for. So if you don't understand that, I'm sorry, you're missing out on probably one of the most interesting yet fucking evil characters ever from Critical Role. Everyone knows what I'm talking about, right? Fucking burn down a tree, bitch. But anyway, I love EXU Calamity, so I'll be talking about it on Saturday. So, yeah, sounds good. See you guys Saturday. Well, yeah, this video is coming out Friday, so that'll be Saturday. See you Saturday. Fuck.